Hi everyone, welcome to Conversations with. I'm Laura Ratliff, Mrs Australia International 2020, and I am so excited today because, as you know, I went through an amazing journey the last couple of years, and I was inspired to find my true core mission by this beautiful, beautiful lady that's come on to the show today. So her name is Robin Towle. She is Mrs International 2019, a former actress, still acting, writing, directing, and her mission to help children stand up for teen suicide is amazing. It just gives me goosebumps thinking about it. So Robin Towle, thank you so much for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having me, Laura. It's such a privilege to be interviewed by you.
Oh, you're lovely. So let's give the viewers a little bit of background to Robin Towle. What was it like growing up as Robin Towle?
Well, when I was growing up, they would always say, "Here comes trouble." So I guess a bit of a handful. I grew up in a small town in eastern North Carolina where the whole town grew up as family. Girls in my town, there wasn't a lot to do. So the girls that I grew up with, we thought we were princesses growing up because we were the princess of our family, and pretty much the families doted on the girls. And I just feel very privileged to have the background that I have and the family that I had growing up. It has really instilled a lot in me, a lot of values and a lot of compassion and strength from the people that I love.
I love that. So Robin, I know that you're very heart-centered and faith-driven, and that's what I love about you, and seeing you go through that pageantry journey and everything else that you're so busy with, and you have such a large family. How do you juggle it all?
Well, I don't know. I guess juggling is the thing. For a long time, and it ended up being part of my journey, if we want to get into that later, but I just was always afraid of dropping my eggs. Like, I had so much on my plate with these kids and homeschooling and expectations that I wanted to meet of everyone I loved and what they thought I should be. And so I was afraid a lot of dropping my eggs. And then I just got so many eggs up in the air that one day they dropped, and I decided I didn't want to juggle them anymore, And so I really don't keep a to-do list except for up here. I'm not a check off the box. I know each day what is most important and what has to be done. And then I, sort of prioritize from there. But I don't keep a checklist anymore. I do try to go from my heart and just to make the best choices I can make every day to help other people.
Yeah, I love that. And watching your lives, I love when you share about self-care and you educate the teens, and which we'll get into in a little bit. So let us know how you came into the pageantry world. I know it was at a young age, wasn't it?
Well, interesting enough, I fell in love with pageantry. The first Mrs. Pageant that ever came about was about the same time that I fell in love with pageantry. I was 7 years old, and my sister wanted to enter me in a local beauty pageant. And so she taught me a talent, and they went to enter me, and they found out I turned 8 too early. And so I was going to be too old. So the pageant system asked me if I would be entertainment. So it was back when John Travolta was big craze, and, like all the dancing, the partner dancing, swing type stuff. And so my sister taught my cousin and I a dance where he twisted me and twirled me and pulled me through his legs and flipped me over his back. And once my dad overheard a man saying, "That little girl has that voice so turned up, he doesn't know which way he's going," because I don't know who led, him or me. But anyway, so I sort of started going down a different path because I didn't compete, and I started dancing. That year, probably the next 2 years, we performed all over our state. And then I got into dancing and cheer and popularity in school, and, being an officer in my school. I always wanted to be an officer in the school, and I was a cheerleader, and, those kind of things sort of took precedence. So but it was instilled, that love. One of my girlfriends did compete in that and won it. And so we started playing pageants when I was little, and I'd haul all my mom's clothes, anything she had that had fur or sequins, went to birthday pajama parties with me, and we would all dress up and compete. So that's sort of how my love for it started. And, I did a few in high school. I placed, I think, it's sad, but I think I placed second. I might have been first runner-up. I can't remember if I was first runner-up or second, but I placed in Mrs. North Carolina USA pageant. And then, I got married and didn't do any pageants for over 20 some years.
Wow, that's amazing. So for someone who's gone through it for quite a long time, I know that your connection to pageantry would have changed over the course of your life. So going through all of that and looking back at it now, what's your one thing that you really resonated or learned from the whole system journey in pageantry?
I think what I learned most is life is a journey, and you have a time and a purpose, and I believe that you're preordained for the things that you'll be called to do in this life, and that we have to have faith. If I had won the pageants when I was younger, when I got older, it probably wouldn't have meant as much. And because I came in it, as an adult, already having grown children, the aspect of the service aspect of it meant so much more to me. And there was such a purpose behind it that I would not have had when I was younger. So I would say one of the biggest things that I learned is, to trust the process and trust God, that He has a purpose for you. And sometimes that purpose is to make you want something really bad, so that when it's your turn, you do a really good job of it.
That's amazing. And Robin, I just love your mission. So how did you find your true mission to helping teen suicide prevention?
I've just shared this story a lot, but I'll do a quick version. We had 8 suicides at our local high school. I had lost several neighbors, and people that I had been close to had lost loved ones to suicide. And after the 8 suicides in our high school in like a 2-year period, my son became depressed, and I think I probably got PTSD from it, because I knew the traumatic experience. I had sort of taken on other people's traumatic experience and mourned with them, if you will. I mourned with them, but also knew it was traumatic for them. So for me, it was traumatic as well. And so when my son became depressed, I knew that anybody who's lost a child to suicide didn't know it was going to happen. If they knew it was going to happen, they would have been in a hospital. They would have been sleeping on their floor. They would have had their arm around them. And I knew there was no way I could know. And so I just became very fearful from that situation. And when I actually found out that my son, was so bad that he didn't really care if he lived or not, I realized that the magnitude of the situation. And at that point, all I wanted was for him to be happy, And so a lot of the pressures of society and the pressures that I had put on him, because I wanted him to be okay. I mean, they were good things I was putting pressure on him for, grades, and to be a good person, and to, do things in your community. But I had put a lot of pressure on him in church and stuff. And at that point, when I knew he was so unhappy that he didn't want to live, none of that mattered anymore. I didn't care what he achieved. I cared that he was happy. And so that was a paradigm shift for me, where I just began to realize how important it is to love people, to accept them where they are, and to support them.
I love that. You're such a beautiful mom, Robin. So not only did you help your son and really listen and provide him for what he needed in that moment, you then took that and realized that there's so many other children out there, teenagers out there that need your guidance. And so you used your pageantry journey to be a bigger voice. And I just loved seeing all of the events that you were doing around Utah at the time. And it's just amazing. So through your journey in pageantry, how many kids do you think you've like touched and helped with Wolfpack, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, you know, it's hard to tell who you touch and who you don't. I know that I'm working with one kid now that lives, you know, several states away, and I met him on a hike and told him about what I did, and he has been struggling. So right now, you know, I'm helping one-on-one with a certain kid trying to start a wolf pack in his area, trying to mentor him. So really, you know, if it's only one child, it was worth it. You know, I had an experience when I was in Japan. I spoke to a group of kids in Japan, and one girl asked to speak with me afterwards, and she let me know that she had an eating disorder and was suicidal. And so, you know, she got to open up about what she was going through, and we were able to get her a counselor to reach out to and help her through this, and make her teachers who were there, you know, when I was speaking, aware of what was going on. And so, you know, I hope I've touched many lives, but if it was just one, it was totally worth it, you know.
Love that. I remember, I think it was about 6 months ago, you added me into one of your groups with your teenagers, and you were going through like different activities, self-care and stuff like that. I just absolutely loved it. So are these the types of activities that you do with Wolfpack ongoing?
Yeah, well, what I do is I felt like I wasn't as empowered or as healthy emotionally as a mother. So what I like to do is use Wolfpack for moms who want to start and help their own children. And through doing that, the parent becomes healthier, which is most important, you know, because then you can model healthy behavior. Because I had a lot of anxiety. And so with my son, I took that anxiety and I modeled it for him: fear, control, and those kind of things were not healthy behaviors. And so I love using my program. It's a curriculum that was written by a licensed clinical social worker specializing in teens, with myself, in conjunction with myself, of things that I felt like we needed, or I wish I had had, or things I had learned and put into this curriculum. And basically we do, we open up dialogue. I really wanted it to be something that wasn't like therapy specifically, because I feel like, you know, if you're only meeting with a child once a month in a group setting, you don't want to open up a lot of bad things. You know what I mean? I know that we do need to deal with those things with a professional, but what I wanted to do was help these children, these kids, change their mindset to a positive mindset and give them some healthy, positive tools to work with. And so that's basically what Wolfpack does. It opens up dialogue, which creates connection, and then we do team building activities and service projects.
I love that, Robin. Thank you so much for doing that. And I really hope there is a Wolfpack all over the world in the next 10, 20 years. I think what you're doing is amazing. So if anyone is listening and wants to reach out to you, how do they get in contact with the Wolfpack organization?
Well, you can reach me through signwolfpack.org. And there's an email that you can go on, and an email link there, and you can email me, and I would love to. Yeah, that is my goal also. You know, I want to get this available through social media, where parents who have kids struggling. I just have a new video that we made with a wolf pack that we have here in Utah, and I want to get that out and start promoting it. So maybe some other moms, because this one mom is amazing. She started 3 wolf packs in her area.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Amazing.
Full high school and a homeschool group. So I feel very, I mean, if I could have moms like that all over the world, we could help these kids, you know?
Amazing. Absolutely. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And so what do we see in the next 5 years with Robin Towle?
Well, I hope we see some grandchildren.
I love that.
I'm forbidden talking about it anymore. Every time about it, they say it's one more year.
My mom says that quite often too, so that's great.
Well, yeah, I like to be a grandma. I had some really big plans after Mrs. International, and with COVID and the way things are different, they're sort of on the back burner right now, but it's perfect because I'm trusting in God's plan. And I know that my family, I spent 3 hard years in service to my reign, and know that my family needs me, and there's timing and all things. And so, I do have some things on the back burner right now, and, I will trust in God that he will lead me in the direction that I'm meant to go in. But right now it's to take care of my family, to take care of my health, to I push myself really hard, and so that's why I do post a lot of self-care things. I want people, people will ask me, how do you do everything you do? Or you do so much, you go all the time. And honestly, the only way I could do it was with that self-care. So I just want to be an inspiration to women to go after their dreams, but also take care of themselves, so that they that they can be there for their family, and that they can achieve those things, instead of putting themselves, pushing themselves too hard and not taking care of themselves. So
love that. You are just such a beautiful person inside and out. So I have a random question, which I didn't tell you, so you're not prepared for this.
Oh, good.
What is your favorite book of all time?
Probably, well, it's a sad book, but my favorite book is probably The Hiding Place.
Ooh, interesting. I haven't read that one. Do you know who the author is?
I do. It's Corrie ten Boom, and Corrie was a Holocaust survivor, and it's her story, and it's a very touching, inspiring story of perseverance, of God, of do you want me to share a little
Yes,
tidbit?
please. Would love it.
Okay. So one of my favorite parts in the book is her sister's very sick, and she tells Corrie, she says, we have to be grateful for everything God has given us, everything. Like even being here, we have to be grateful for everything. And Corrie says, I cannot be grateful for the fleas, because their barracks were infested in fleas and they were getting diseases from it. And she said, I cannot be grateful for the fleas. She says, yes, we have to be grateful for everything, even the fleas. Well, later in the story, a woman died in the barracks. And so they went out to the guards, and let me backtrack a little bit. She had a smuggled Bible in, and the women would gather around at night and read this Bible. And then the lady died, and they went out and told the guard there was a lady who had died inside. And the guard said, no way am I going in that flea infested place. You can bring her out. And so then Corrie realized that she did have to be thankful for the fleas, because had it not been for the fleas, they would not have been able to be enriched by their Bible study, to give them the strength to survive that.
You just gave me chills. I have to read that. That sounds amazing. Thank you, Robin, so much. Is there any final words of wisdom from Robin Towle that you'd like to share today?
Well, I'll just keep going with Corrie ten Boom. So Corrie, when she would speak, she's passed away now, but she did speak in America for a while. And when she would speak, she would show a tapestry, and it was a beautiful crown, ironically. And if you turn the back, you could see all of the messy strings there. Okay. But when you look on the front side, you could see the beautiful crown. And so her analogy of that was that God works in our life, and sometimes it's messy, but it produces a beautiful finished product. So
I love that so much. Robin, this has been inspirational in itself. I know that the listeners are just glowing from the inside out. Thank you for sharing your heart with us today. And I cannot wait to see the next 5 years of Robin Towle. So thank you so much. So that's it, guys. That is Conversations With. That was an amazing show. Please do share it with all of your listeners, because I know that by sharing stories, we can inspire and ignite a fire within. So that's it, Laura Ratliff. And don't forget to sparkle for every child.